Hey besties, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I would do something a little different, something that I've never done before. I would just sit here and talk about something like fashion or lifestyle or makeup.
And why aren't you in uniform?
Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Captain Savaho. How may I educate you today? Welcome to another episode of Yes, I Complain About Every Single Thing, and yes, I'm still very fun at parties. Ask your dad. As you can see from the title, I'm choosing violence today, as I always do. A few days ago, I read a very lovely Teen Vogue article that featured some of my favorite creators on this platform, like Khadijah, T, and Amanda, my co-workers, if you will. The article, written by Mary Retta, discusses how Black commentators are still fighting to be recognized on LeftTube. For those that don't know what LeftTube is, it is a community here on YouTube that focuses on educational videos that feature left-leaning politics and is known to be a predominantly white sphere. But that is well on its way to changing with every video I post. I strongly resonated with that Teen Vogue article. I think it's a very well-timed, eye-opening article that breaches a very important topic. And that is the exclusion of Black people, especially Black women and Black queer people, from predominantly white cis spheres, such as commentary, for instance. But there was one point from the article that really jumped out to me, and it was this quote from Amanda.
I love seeing Black people succeed, but I do think it's telling that commentary YouTube is where Black women are excelling. These videos have so much informational value, they're so labor intensive, and meanwhile, certain less political white women vloggers are still doing the bare minimum and have pretty sustainable followings.
Something clicked in my head when I read this, something that coincides with Amanda's point, which I take to be the fact that Black women have to work twice as hard and are still half as liked as their white peers. But I want to take it a step further. Amanda states that it's telling that commentary is where Black women are excelling. Commentary is chock full of informational value and is inherently labor intensive. You have to do a lot of research and get everything perfectly correct, especially as a woman of color, let me tell you. So Amanda's words made me think. How does the success of Black women within politicized commentary spheres relate to society's expectation for Black women to be saviors and educators? Now, that's a big bite to take, but it will be worth it in the end. Kind of like our sponsor today, HelloFresh.
I know you're no stranger to the success of HelloFresh. I mean, they're America's #1 meal kit for a reason. They offer more 5-star recipes than any other meal kit and make it their mission to break you out of your recipe rut. Before I found HelloFresh, cooking was the most monotonous task of my day. I literally began dreading the moment my fiance would get home and ask me what I wanted for dinner, because how am I supposed to know? I haven't left my house in a year, and every mealtime is beginning to melt together in one boring blob of nothing. We were definitely beginning to fall into a routine of making the same meals every single week, and they were all what I call safe meals, those easy, unburnable meals, because as Cardi B once said, I don't cook, I don't clean, but let me tell you how I got this ring. But HelloFresh changed all of that. There's no more searching aimlessly around the grocery store for 40 minutes, struggling to keep our mask up and our list updated, and trying to fight off Susans who don't know what a 6-foot guideline is. And most importantly, there's no more dead-end conversations about what we're going to eat for dinner. I know it's hard to believe that there's a world out there without meal planning and forgetting to thaw things out, so you have to eat fast food again, but it's here. No, really, it's here. They're ringing the doorbell right now. HelloFresh delivers everything you need to make chef-curated meals right to your door, and you can get them on the table in 30 minutes or even less with their quick and easy options. You can add extra dinners, lunches, and meal complements like garlic bread. Say less. And as if it couldn't get any more delicious, the reward of your dancing taste buds isn't the only benefit, because all of HelloFresh's meals are pre-proportioned so you waste less food, and their packaging is almost entirely made from recycled or recyclable content. HelloFresh even donated 4 million let me move my bang so I can say that again, 4 million meals to charity in 2020, and is continuing to step up their donation game during the Panini Press. No matter if you're low-cal, carb-smart, vegetarian, or pescatarian, HelloFresh has something fresh and tasty for you, and they make it easier than ever to get fresh, delicious meals on the table for you and your family. Go to HelloFresh.com and use my code SHANSPIRIT12 to get 12 free meals, including free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com and use my code SHANSPIRIT12 to get 12 free meals, including free shipping. Thank you, HelloFresh, for sponsoring this video, and thank you to you guys for allowing me to have these opportunities. I am eternally grateful. Now, let's get back to it.
Before we begin, let me make it clear that this is a video on YouTube, meaning it's not the gospel truth. Not every Black creator is expected to be an educational tool, and not every Black creator chooses to be an educational tool. And just because I'm presenting this video to you doesn't mean I think it's bad that Black women are rising in commentary, or that it's bad that you watch Black women in commentary. Why would I think that?
I'm Black.
As Black?
I am Black. I'm absolutely Black.
Sometimes I make videos commentating on things, and that doesn't mean I think those things are inherently bad or wrong or cancelable. Shocking, I know. With that being said, I think it's about time that we analyze what I call the Black revolutionary trope. This trope and its related stereotypes will help us understand the Black savior in a bit more detail. So, the Black revolutionary appears a lot in Black-centric media. They are the Samantha Whites and Nova Bordelones. They are activists down to their bones and always fight for what's right. What's interesting about the Black revolutionary trope is the fact that it's made up of two other well-known tropes. The Black trauma used for entertainment trope, which only allows dark-skinned Black people to be main characters when they're suffering from coded or outright racial struggle, and the strong Black woman trope that often portrays Black women as superheroes and saviors. To begin with the Black trauma used for entertainment trope, we actually saw this trope in action this time last year. Infographics and action lists began circulating and featured an endless array of movie and book recommendations to help non-Black people better understand the Black experience. A lot of those recommendations featured media like The Help, When They See Us, and Fruitvale Station, all of which center racism and even sometimes white people as the main character rather than the Black person who is struggling from racial violence. You rarely saw shows like Girlfriends or Living Single being recommended. You sure as hell didn't see shows like Everybody Hates Chris or That's So Raven or Sister Sister being recommended. Shows that portrayed Black people as people rather than just traumatized bodies that racial violence happens to. The Black trauma used for entertainment trope reared its ugly head yet again this year with the release of Lena Waithe's Them, and the conversation instantly erupted on Twitter. People wondered why dark-skinned Black people in particular, and Black people in general, couldn't have a nuanced, carefree show in this modern age. Why do we always have to be characters in a racial horror film? Why do we always have to have revolutionary Black characters whose sole purpose is to fight racism? We began noticing that there's no such thing as escapism for Black people because everywhere we looked, even within our own media, race or police brutality or discrimination was looking down at us from the other end of the barrel. The main issue with the overabundance of Black trauma in the media is the effect it has on people's perception of Black people. What I mean by that is constantly associating Black people with racial violence and struggle dehumanizes us. It reinforces the idea that the Black experience is nothing but racism. This is especially damaging when you consider the fact that the media is the closest some non-Black people will ever get to Black people. It's some people's only way to interact with and see Black people. And what happens when all they know about Black life is Black death? We don't really get to be viewed as anything but Black. And in a world that views everyone other than white as racialized, this doesn't seem so extreme. But we're viewed as Black before we're viewed as human. So, you may be asking yourself, what does this have to do with the Black revolutionary trope? Well, when Black people are stripped of their humanity and the association of Black with racial trauma is reinforced, Black characters become pigeonholed. Fighting against race, talking about race, centering race, all of these things are the only topics a Black main character can explore because that's what the Black experience is thought to be, racialized. And that's unfortunately the only thing the general public thinks Black people are good for. a discussion of race and politics. A side note that goes without saying is, duh, racism exists, and many minorities, particularly Black people, are activists and educators. Sometimes that stems from a place of requirement, because if we don't fight for us, who will? I'm not saying Black revolutionaries don't exist in real life, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with fighting for Black liberation. It would quite literally be against my best interest to think so. I also think it's in everyone's best interest, no matter their race, to fight for what's right, especially because oppressions are interlinked. We all can't be free until all of us are free. But this constant repackaging of Black trauma for the sake of educating non-Black people or creating an entertaining show based off racial violence for ratings is tiring. It's giving nothing. It's giving dirt. It's giving dust.
Where's the flavor? Where's the flavor in this? I don't taste anything. I don't taste sugar, cinnamon, nutmeg, milk, nothing.
Because if people don't understand the horrors that Black people face in real life, I doubt watching The Help for the 48th time is going to wake anyone up. In that same vein of dehumanization, we have the strong Black woman trope. As Shakespeare once said, "S on my chest, let me get my cape on," because society quite literally views Black women as superheroes that can withstand just about anything. Endless research journals state that Black mothers die at a higher rate in childbirth than white mothers, because it's believed that Black people are less sensitive to pain than other races. Black children are viewed as adults, and Black girls are proven to be seen as less in need of protection or nurturing simply because they are Black girls. The strong Black woman is a savior. She was created as a way to combat other negative stereotypes afforded to Black women, such as the over-sexualized Jezebel and the overtly helpful mammy figure of the Jim Crow South. What's interesting to me about this counteractive measure is that the strong Black woman is still an extension of the mammy figure to me, despite its goal of breaking that trope down. According to Dr. David Pilgrim, sociology professor at Ferris State University, quote, "The mammy was created by white Southerners to redeem the relationship between Black women and white men within slave society in response to the anti-slavery attack from the North during the antebellum period. In other words, white people in the South created this caricature of the Black woman in order to prove that they found Black women undesirable and repulsive. Basically, it was a bunch of colorism and fat phobia with a little sprinkle of ageism in there for added flavor. The mammy was, quote, portrayed as dark-skinned, often pitch black, in a society that regarded Black skin as ugly, tainted. She was obese, sometimes morbidly overweight. Moreover, she was often portrayed as old, or at least middle-aged. The attempt was to desexualize mammy. The implicit assumption was this: no reasonable white man would choose a fat, elderly Black woman instead of the idealized white woman, end quote. Sounds cowardly, if you ask me, real pussy behavior. You are the weakest link, to me. Besides the intention of using the mammy caricature to desexualize Black women, mammy also served another purpose: to prove to the world that Black people, especially Black women, loved being enslaved. In fact, the mammy was created to prove that Black women were proponents of servitude. They loved their white families dearly, so much that their own Black families were treated with disdain by the mammy. The strong Black woman and the mammy are similar to me because they serve the same goal in white society: to serve others with a disregard to your own best interest. In various white supremacist films like Birth of a Nation and Gone with the Wind, the mammy character quite literally serves as a shield between outside threats and the white family she's serving, almost like the way Black women consistently serve as a shield between humanity and humanity's proclivity of destroying itself. This is where the discussion pivots to everyone's worst nightmare. In the media, politics is where the Black trauma trope and the strong Black woman trope merge into the Black revolutionary trope. Politics in real life are exhausting for everyone, but America tends to place the biggest burden specifically on the shoulder of Black women. There are numerous articles that declare Black women as the saviors of American democracy just because we vote in the best interest of our communities instead of against them. And there are numerous think pieces that urge Black women to run for presidential office to fix the mess that previous white occupants left behind, even if that Black woman is not a politician and they just say things that are based in common sense. Every election cycle, we're told that Black women have immense political power, so much so that the Black woman's vote was projected to play an influential role in the 2020 election. Why do we, expect black women to be the saviors of American politics. I have a theory that through all of these tropes and political expectations, the black woman has quietly become a caricature, and none of us noticed. We became a political mascot that is slapped across the surface of every trending social issue. We are further dehumanized and made into a catchy phrase or trendy sticker to prove a person's liberal or progressive views. Even when black women are inherently interlaced in a specific topic, we're dragged kicking and screaming anyways because we've become the face of politics. Specifically, we've become the face of left-leaning politics. Take, for instance, Colin Kaepernick's publishing house using a dark-skinned black woman as the cover of their newest book, Abolition for the People. The artwork is actually inspired by this Black Panther poster made by Emory Douglas over 50 years ago. The original artwork portrays a black person, presumably a black woman, with a pretty ambiguous skin tone. You can't really tell what shade the person is supposed to be because their skin is the same color as everything else on them. Their skin even matches the newspaper and their shirt. But Kaepernick's publishing house decided to revise the original artwork and make it contemporary. They added a cell phone, did away with the weapon, and even added some hoops to Miss Girl's outfit. But they also decided to do away with the previous ambiguity and make this person undeniably black. But more specifically, they made her an undeniably dark-skinned black woman. Say what you want, call me sensitive or overdramatic, but you have to ask yourself. This book is written by over 30 writers. It's edited by Colin Kaepernick, and his name is in bold yellow letters. In fact, his name is the only name featured on the front cover that has been posted on Instagram. So what would be the reason a black woman is chosen to be on the cover of a book that is said to be made by someone who isn't a black woman? Wouldn't the cover benefit more if it showed Colin Kaepernick's face, since his is the only name on the cover? Why not a group of diverse people, since this issue pertains to every race? Why a single black woman? Is because the black woman is no longer a person. She has no agency. She can't denounce or even consent to her inherent role in saving the world. The black woman serves as a political mascot rather than a community of individual people with varying interests and appearances. She has become a monolith, the trendy catchphrase to throw around when talking about social issues. To get back to the question I proposed earlier, how does the success of black women within politicized commentary spheres relate to society's expectation for black women to be saviors and educators? I would argue it's because of black trauma being mass marketed for entertainment value, which leads to society to view black people as two-dimensional, racialized characters who are only allowed to exist within racialized discussions. Black people become the face of political issues because our lives are politicized. Why do you think Black Lives Matter gets brought up every time a new social issue makes its rounds on social media? I would also argue that it's because of the strong black woman trope, which fashions black women as literal superheroes whose only purpose is to build America back up after it's been demolished by its own people. Commentary is tedious, it's difficult, it's taxing, but it's expected and sometimes even demanded of black women to put that cape on. Because we can take it, because we're stronger, because we're genetically predisposed to servitude, as the Old South would argue. Amanda's statement of it being interesting that political commentary is where black women are excelling reminds me that black women are only listened to if we're saving others, or fighting for others, or educating others. There's a little asterisk in the air right now because black women, in my experience, are not listened to when we're fighting for ourselves or for other black women. We only get heard when we're screaming for the sake of others. Then we're strong. Then we're queens. Any other time, we're told we're overacting or complaining. Because we're at the intersection of black and woman, we have to fight two wars. The one where we are racialized and incapable of nuance, and the one where we are women, doomed to a life of servitude. In that way, it feels that political commentary and activism is made for black women. I just wish it wasn't demanded of us. Don't get me wrong, I love the surge of black people in commentary in an industry where white people dominate every other facet of entertainment. I think it's amazing to see many black women and black queer people get their flowers and have a chance to do what they love, me included. Commentary may be a strenuous category, it may be labor intensive and sometimes mentally draining, but it's also important to have diverse topics spoken about by diverse people. Black women belong wherever they want to be, whether that be in lifestyle, makeup, or commentary. Black women and black people in general do not owe you education. We do not owe you political commentary. We don't even owe you racialized discussions. Some of us just happen to be loud and opinionated, and it just so happens that we do it in style. Don't take that for granted.